Welcome, family. My name is John Menzies McFarlane. I look forward to sharing my story with you.
I am Thomas Judd, born at Cubbington in the year of our Lord 1793. I worked the soil with these hands, and when the fields could no longer keep my growing family, I turned to clay and fire, shaping bricks as steady as my faith. I watched a world at war.
I am Mary Dowler Judd, born in Cubbington, Warwickshire in the year 1795. I married Thomas Judd, and together we kept house while he worked the land and later the clay for bricks. I raised our children through lean seasons and blessed ones, stitching, baking.
I was born in the furrows of Cavan, a farmer's boy with more sky than roof over my head. I traded the plough for a horse and sabre, joining the 2nd Dragoon Guards. Under Wellington we thundered into Waterloo, mud, smoke and destiny in every charge. That field changed me.
I am Elizabeth Lunt, christened in Manchester in the winter of 1788. I grew up among the cottage looms, threading wool with small hands. I watched a town swell into a city of chimneys and carts and met David Hindis. Together we raised children at a humble table through storm.
I am Caleb Ashworth, born in Accrington, Lancashire in 1782. As the mills rose around us, I learned the shuttle and loom at my father's side, then the clamour of the power looms when steam took hold. I worked hard to feed and clothe my children, to keep a roof over our heads and a bit of hope in our hearts.
Children. I was born in Lower Booths in the year of 1781. They said a girl had to keep a proper house, mend what was torn, spin what was needed. So I did, and more. I raised my children in the shadow of the looms, hands always busy, heart always listening.
I am William Siddle, born in Chesterfield in 1789, a labourer's son who learned to work the soil before iron and fire called me to the forge. I mended tools, traded at market and fed my children with the strength of these hands. Through war and peace,
I am Rachel Ball, born in Derbyshire in 1801 and gone in January of 57 at Brimington. Through these hands I kept house, raised our children and coaxed harvests from stubborn soil. I nursed fevers, stretched bread and bacon and stitched shirts late by candlelight.
I am John McFarlane, coachman of Stirling Castle. In the year of our Queen's visit, I drove the relays that carried Victoria and Albert through the gates. My wife Annabella embraced a new faith. I admired her courage, yet I held back, fearful of losing the work that fed our children. I stayed at my post.
I am Annabella Sinclair. I was born in Killen, Scotland in 1812. In 1833 I wed John McFarlane, a coachman at Stirling Castle, and together we raised 3 children. The restored gospel found me in 1842, and my boy and I sang its hymns in the street.
I am Joseph Chatterley, born in St Mary Berry, Lancashire in 1807, husband to Nancy Morton, father to our children. I embraced the restored gospel in 1847. Feeling the call to gather with the saints, we sailed from Liverpool in the autumn of 1850, crossed the ocean, rode the rivers to St Louis.
I am Nancy Morton Chatterley. I was born in Radcliffe, Lancashire in 1806. Through smoke and clatter of the mills, I met Joseph, raised our children, and in the 1840s we listened when the missionaries spoke of Zion. Indeed, and they want.
I was born in the hills of Ayrshire, and as a youth I left them behind, walking toward the smoke and clatter of the towns. In the mills I learned the whir of spindles, in the pits the weight of coal, in the canal yards the creak of rope and the hiss of steam. Europe burned with war, prices soared.
I am Anne Varley, born in Colne in 1782. I kept a house and raised our children in the shadow of the mills, spinning, mending, cooking, taking any work that would keep bread on the table as handlooms gave way to roaring frames. I remember the smoke over the valley.
My name is William Matthews. I was born the 14th of October, 1809 in New Radford, Nottinghamshire, where the mill's smoke darkened the sky. At 40, after years of labour, I embraced the restored gospel and was baptised. In 1864, the call came to gather.
I am Hepzibah Jarvis Matthews, born March 3rd, 1810 in New Radford, Nottinghamshire. England around me hummed with clattering looms and cries for reform. In 1847 I embraced the restored gospel. 17 years later, William and I, parents of 9, left all we knew for Zion. We joined John R. Murdoch's company.
In 1721, in Hollis, New Hampshire, I came into the world. By trade, I shaped felt into hats. By calling, I led my family and my church. I wed Hannah Johnson, raised a house full of children, and after her passing, Catherine Emerson walked beside me. When liberty cried out, I answered. June 19th, 17...
I am Hannah Johnson Thurston, born in Andover, Massachusetts, in the year of our Lord 1722. In 1742 I wed Moses Thurston, and our home soon filled with children, Hannah, Moses, Shua, Gilman, Mary.
I am Thomas Butler, born on the 18th of May, 1745, in Middletown. when our colony still bent to the British Crown and the rhythms of river trade and church bells shaped daily life. I came of age as the spirit of independence.
I was born in 1752 in the Litchfield Hills of Connecticut Colony, when this land was still British and life moved with the seasons. As I grew, whispers of liberty stirred in our meeting house and on the green. By the time I was a young woman, riders brought news of...
I am John Smith, born on the 20th of February 1772 in Dalmellington, when our highland fields were giving way to mines and ironworks. I grew to manhood as the Napoleonic Wars raged, their victories and losses reaching even our quiet valleys. In time, the roads and canals...
I am Sarah Soules, born in 1773 in East Halton, where the fields meet the tide. I grew as Britain fought France. News of battles rode the wind to our quiet parish. Prices climbed, men marched, and new machines bit into the soil, changing the world.
I am Thomas M. Johnson, born the 18th of October 1767 in the village of Ellenbrook, when England stood on the threshold of sweeping change. I lived through the roar of the Napoleonic Wars, when news of battles stirred both pride and worry at every hearth. In Lancashire, I watched
I am Hannah Molyneux, born in Ellenbrook, England in 1771. As mills began to hum and revolution stirred, I crossed the Atlantic seeking promise, and in America became mother to 9, building a home through faith and work. I watched a young
I am Henry Kemp, born about the year 1757 in Carlton Road, when England's fields and villages still moved to ancient rhythms even as the wider world was stirred by revolution and change. I lived through the long years of the Napoleonic Wars, when fear of invasion and the burden of war touched even our rural parish, and I saw new...
I am Phoebe Bird, born in 1760 in the quiet parish of Carlton Road. While our fields turned with the seasons, wars raged across oceans and the American colonies broke away. I married and raised 9 children, keeping a home through years of...
I am William Button, born about the year 1757 in Thelnathan, where farming and parish life set the rhythm of our days. I grew to manhood as Britain's American colonies broke away, news that reached even our quiet lanes. Here I wed till the...
I'm Sarah Hunt, christened on the 28th of September 1764 in the parish of Walsham-Lee Willows. I came of age while America fought for its freedom, and later our quiet lanes echoed with news of Napoleon's wars. Through change and worry, I raised 9 children, keeping...
I am Joseph Lockwood, born in 1755 in Bolton-upon-Dean, when Yorkshire villages were shaped by farming, craft, and the first stirrings of industry. I lived through the tumult of the American struggle for independence and the anxious years of Britain's wars with revolution.
I am Rebecca Brownhill, born in 1757 in Yorkshire, where village life was rooted in faith, family, and the steady work of the land. I watched Britain's American colonies break away and later felt the long fight with Napoleon reach even our small homes with worry and rising prices.
I am Thomas Bisbee, born in 1782 in Barnbury, Yorkshire. I came of age as the Napoleonic Wars raged, news of far-off battles and rising prices reaching even our quiet fields. Through the years I watched canals cut the land, coal and new machines.
I was born in 1771 in the quiet folds of Yorkshire, when our village rhythms seemed eternal. Through the years I stitched, sewed and prayed as the world beyond our fields began to shift. I heard of revolution across the ocean, and later of battles with Bonaparte, while doing my part to tend family.